Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Dogs Get Involved. My name's Frankie. I'm going to be the host today, and here we have.
I'm Jessica.
In Columbia.
So, a couple of things that I'm involved in. I am the SGA executive advisor, and I was a homecoming director currently, and I'm also a dean of students intern at the moment.
Hi, I'm the student body president this year. I'm also the reigning homecoming queen, and I'm also involved in organizations like Delta Mu Delta, Sigma Phi Lambda, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I think that's it.
Yeah, so I'm involved in Sigma Phi Lambda, which is a Christian sorority on campus. I also work in the Dean of Students office like Frankie, and which I'm currently the CAB director for our student-sponsored organization that we have. And I'm also in PBL and Delta Mu Delta, some of the business organizations we have on campus. I do think that's it.
Cool.
And SGA. I'm also very involved in SGA.
So, as you can see, we're a pretty involved group. A couple of things that I was formerly involved in. I was also, like Jessica, I was a student body president last year. I was involved in my fraternity, Phi Delta Theta, where I served as brotherhood, treasurer, vice president, sweetheart chair, social media chair, and I was also the Collegiate Activities board director from 2021 to 2022. And I was also an orientation leader for 3 years and served on the Orientation Leader Advisory Board as the Welcome Week Director, as well as I was a resident advisor on campus too. So yeah, I was pretty busy, but currently I took a little break. It's my last year for senior year, so I graduated in May. So we're going to be talking about leadership today and how important it is to get involved and become a leader on campus. What are your guys' experiences as leaders, and can you guys like tie a leadership role and like what it taught you as a college student?
Yeah, for sure. So if like you didn't pick up on it already, we kind of have similar experiences of what we've been involved with. We both have officers. We've all three been on the homecoming court. And Frankie and I both work in the Dean of Students office and have been CAB directors. So like they're pretty similar experiences, but like we each have our own unique differences. And something that I've learned as I've stepped into these leadership roles, my first one starting out my sophomore year when I was an officer for my sorority, that was like my first step into feeling like, oh, like I'm a leader to a group of people, even if it is a smaller role. Just like figuring out like what it takes to step into that responsibility while maintaining like schoolwork and work.
Yeah, so my biggest leadership role that has really just sharpened who I am today would have to be being student body president this past school year. I feel like I've learned so much on how to team manage because I manage my executive cabinet of over 10 positions. And so those are like kind of just a bunch of moving departments and stuff. And so just like managing them and then also strengthening my public speaking skills because I do get to speak at every graduation and commencement ceremony that SWASU has. And so, yeah, and also like speaking with admin, faculty, and staff and just partnering with them to get things done and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. And for me, I would also say student body president was my most vital role in how I developed all my leadership skills and professional skills in general. Last year, we came in with our current advisor, the vice president of student services. He was also new to his role, and he's usually our advisor. He kind of serves as a lead to tell us, kind of what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it and like ways that we are efficient ways on how to do things. So we were, both him and I, Dr. Johnson, kind of had to navigate through that in our role, both of him as an advisor and me as president. So coming in, I made up 11 cabinet positions, I believe. So that involved a lot of kind of delegating tasks and kind of keeping track of everyone and kind of making sure that the whole team is, on the same level and has the same goal on as to, have a very efficient year and have really good events. I would say last year it was definitely a roller coaster. I had a lot of things, everything that you think could go wrong went wrong. And so it really taught me a lot about problem solving and last minute critical thinking decisions. Um, it was definitely, I kind of threw myself in the fire, especially even running for such an important position like that. I previously had only been in SGA for a year as a senator. I wasn't even on cabinet or anything, so I had no experience. I had no idea even how to run a cabinet. So it was a completely new area for me. Even though I had leadership positions previously, it was nothing as big as SGA, because in SGA, everything's kind of given to us, and it's up to us to kind of make it happen. We're given like a budget, a substantial budget over, I believe mine was like $31,000. So we were, responsible for delegating that well and kind of distributing it evenly and fairly, and making sure that each huge project and huge event that we have for the school gets done. So it played a really, really important role for me as a college student, and honestly has helped me. Speaking of, I recently interviewed for a position for an entry level job. And so it kind of served me as a reference to talk about all of my experiences, because in professional job interviews, they will ask you about relevant experience to certain scenarios. It's a lot of like situational scenarios where you have to recall different things that have happened to you in your leadership experiences in either the collegiate career or high school career. So it was very useful for me to be able to track back and kind of see how I have developed each different skill that they were needing. For example, like communication skills, organization skills, last minute problem solving skills. Those were super important for any organization, as like in terms of corporate or even a small business. Um, I would say SGA, I don't know if you guys would agree, but SGA is pretty much like a small business. We have certain moving parts, like Columbia right now, and last year too. She was, responsible for the marketing. She was responsible for the social media. She was responsible for making things look appealing for the students to come, because we are spending a large amount of money for each event. And so we would obviously love for the students to come. It's made for them. And before then, last year, Jessica served as my vice president for half of my term. And so, she knew how to delegate, and she was really good at delegating our Senate meetings, because that was her job as vice president, and creating agendas for those meetings. So it really taught us, a lot of different skills that are vital for any career in general. Would you guys say that had you not had those leadership roles, would you be prepared for like a career outside, like after college?
I definitely always refer back to my time as doing public relations for SGA for 2 years as like the epitome of what I've learned in college, to use that forward to like move on forward in my my future career, because that's where I pretty much found my passion for what I wanted to do, job wise, and after college, why I'm getting a marketing degree basically. Like I definitely don't think I would have had the same experience and qualities that I've built up if it hadn't been for the positions I've held in SGA. And just being in Senate alone also kind of gives an insight on like when I was a freshman, I started as a senator, and I just remember admiring the older people doing these positions that I'm doing now, and being like, wow, they're so cool and professional looking. Like I want to do that. And here I am now, and I've learned so much in that process. And it is very much like a business too. And like Jessica said about learning how to talk to staff members and like faculty and admin, you're basically learning how to talk to higher ups and be professional in a professional setting too. So definitely for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything you guys have both said. If it wasn't for like my involvement in SGA and all of these organizations, I would definitely not feel prepared for like after graduation and what life looks like after that. Just because like all of these leadership positions that I've held, they've just really set me up for success for like life after graduation, and I'm so grateful for that. Whenever I was a freshman, I like didn't even know what SGA was, and I saw like their Instagram post or whatever about Senate filing, and I was like, I don't really know what this is, but I know like some of these people that I look up to are like involved with this. So I like filled out the Google form and I became a senator. And now it's just crazy to like see how full circle that has
Now you're the
come.
top dog.
Yeah. But
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, to sum it all up, it's important to get involved, become a leader, not only for employers in the future, but for yourself to build that confidence within you. Um, if you don't feel confident in leading a group or leading a meeting, or it doesn't matter if you're not involved in SGA, as long as you're involved in a club in general, you have a certain insight that no one else does that's not involved in a certain club or organization about how to run things, how we people work together for the same goal. And so I would say that, I mean, it's the single most important thing other than classes. I mean, you can go to classes, you can go, do your homework, have A's, but ultimately employers want to see how you manage to juggle both your academic career and your like kind of like personal career with where meaning like clubs, organizations, kind of your involvement. What things do you do? Do you play sports? Do you, let's say, like we have like so many clubs, like art club,
graphic
fencing
design
club, graphic design club, like different things. Like employers want to see like your ability to go out there and kind of find what you're interested in and kind of like get out of your comfort zone. I think it's important for everyone to do that at least once because you'll grow as a person. And that's what employers want to see. People want to see growth. They want to see you being committed to serve something because employers don't want you to be there for a year. They have invested so much in you, with not just training, but they're trusting you to do this job. So if you have previously held leadership positions, it shows your dedication and your passion, and it shows it's a prime example on how well you do things.
And like I have a little bit of just an experience to kind of like draw out the time here. Recently, I went to the Future Business Leaders of America conference where we did performance events and exams. And one of my performance events that I signed up to do was the job interview. So this was a mock interview. I had to provide a resume, and the judge asked me questions based off of my resume, like an interview would. And afterwards she complimented me on my resume and like my experience and stuff like that. Like we weren't like in the performance anymore. Like we were just one-on-one talking.
Just
like
chit-chatting.
We were just chit-chatting. And she was like, you have like a really strong list of experiences here that are very like unique to you and what you've done. Whereas I've gotten plenty of interviewers that come in and don't have this. They just go to class and sleep and eat. And it's like, okay,
Right.
I need a job. And
well,
like,
let's try and get you something by just going to class. Like, yeah, you have good grades, but do you have good skills, hard skills to back that up other than just textbook skills?
yeah. Something I was going to add was like us as marketing majors, like we could read all the books, all of the articles about marketing and stuff, but if it wasn't for like our experience with involvement and stuff in our collegiate career, like I just feel like that book smart stuff like won't mean anything if you have no experience in your field.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, even if you're not in college yet, if you're still in high school, I was super involved also in high school. I was in FCCLA. I served as president for my chapter, district. I was a state officer. I like made national, like I was like a national 3-time gold winner for star events. So I knew from the get-go that I wanted to be an involved person in college, and being in FCCLA alone had helped me a lot. And I was also involved in student council, which is pretty much SGA, in high school. But it really also prepared me for, the collegiate career, and kind of like the long record that I have of different things that I have done throughout campus. So if you're still in high school, I would definitely recommend even something small like, I don't know what they have in high school, FFA, FCCLA, FCA, just small. No matter how small, it's a good head start, and it'll never hurt you.
And even if you're not very involved in high school, I kind of have a different story where I switched halfway through, and like I wasn't very involved in my last 2 years, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get involved when you start college. If anything, that's in a little encouragement for you to go ahead and get involved when you come to college.
Perfect. Well, I think our time is up for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Frankie.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Columbia.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.